Greetings and welcome. My name is Allie, and this is a Million on Mars interview episode we have with the one and only Matt Gilmour. Matt did the original score, soundtrack for the game, and is an amazing human being, dear friend, and incredible musician. We couldn't be more honored to have him as part of this project. So I hope you enjoy this interview. If you do, please feel free to leave a comment, like, all the things. Enjoy. This is Matt Gilmour, who has done our lovely first soundtrack, the launch of the thing. It sounds like Matt. So how's it going? Good morning, afternoon?
It's afternoon at this point. Morning for you, I'm sure. It's going very well, thank you. And yourself?
Yeah, doing all right. Could you give a little bit more detail of what's been going on in your world?
Working on music for the last 15, 20 years and working my way up the ropes of learning all the things involved with that. I started as a guitarist, and then I learned to sing, and then I learned to do bass and bits of other instruments and started production. And that production journey is sort of what led me here. I put out 2 albums last year, just about this one for this game, and I'm just starting my next album, so that'll be like 4 in 2 years. In my defense though, Collages, the first of those last year, took a few years to get there. You know, it wasn't just like we did that last year. You know, the first song of that was recorded quite a while before.
Yeah.
Like 4 years before. I found my personal direction has been leaning more electronic, but somehow trying to hybrid in that sound and make it together. And I feel like I'm getting there. I feel like the title track I gave you is definitely along that route of being able to mix conventional style singing and lyrics and guitars, but with an electronic sound. I didn't necessarily succeed at giving you a rock album, but I gave you an album. I don't know, it's what inspired me to go with the game.
Maybe the next one. I don't know, this one was pretty good though. I don't think I would change it.
It's also quite hard during a pandemic to get musicians together into a real studio. You can't, it's like, I don't have the equipment and room available to record a drum kit, for example, very well. So just even being able to go out, just the functional level of being in a room with another person, using microphones and setting it up is the biggest obstacle I had to being able to do that with a real band.
So what did it look like then?
Pretty much all of it was computer. I mean, other than this mic for recording vocals, and then I used an SM58 for my guitar. I got my sister to sing on one song.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
She's singing
Title
the harmonies track. And the da-das at the beginning of the title track. Yeah, that was fun. We spent quite a long time singing loads of harmonies and getting them all worked out. We had like this big sort of like 4-part harmony bit, and I wasn't too happy with it in the end. But at the end, I asked her to do just this random idea I had, and she did not like it that much. She didn't get it. And in the end, she said, "So what did you use?" It's like, "Oh, I used the bit that you didn't like right at the end."
You have a knack for doing that, but it always ends up sounding really good.
But I feel like that's the rhythm of creativity. Sometimes you feel like you've got this plateau of ideas of where it's all going to be beautifully constructed, and then you get there and you hear it, and you're like, "It's just not doing it for me. Let's experiment now." But now that you kind of got it out of your system, you can kind of just approach things with an open mind. Most of my favorite parts of my guitar parts as I was learning to play guitar came from making mistakes and hearing the recording of that mistake and going, how do I do that again? I feel people can't really be creative if you've got everything you need. You're not being creative, you're just doing it. You know, being a creative is thinking outside of the box to achieve a goal, not having the stuff you need to do it. I just find that rabbit hole a lot more inspiring.
Yeah. There's a quote that you said to me years ago that has stuck with me. You can't think outside the box if you don't understand it.
You can't think outside of the box if you don't first have a box to think in.
Yeah. Better. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that one. My mum has a painting that she did when I was very, very young. I'm not sure if I was even born when she did it, but I remember seeing it around growing up, and it's a picture of a man sort of like pensively thinking, and he's in a cardboard box. But on the outside, it's a cardboard box. On the inside, it's full of ideas around it. I just always thought that guy's thinking in the box. And then I was like, how does he think outside the box? Or is he thinking outside the box because his brain is the box and he's now in a different box? I don't know.
There's so many ways that you could take that. You could just keep going for days. boxes look like as you were thinking about starting certain tracks? What kind of space were you getting yourself into to feel?
I made about 60 different files. I did not deliberately make those 10. I did not specifically go into any of them other than the title track with much of a plan. I just kind of be like, I'm gonna work on something today, and I would sit there and play, and I'd noodle through different synth sounds, find something that I enjoyed, mess around until I made a mistake that I like the sound of. Yeah, and then you kind of do that, and then you don't think about it, move on, and then be like, try a new file, but a different tempo and a different key and different synth. Eventually one will, you'll be inspired enough to add some drums and do something else around it, and it slowly builds. I would follow the inspiration rather than a core concept. After a few days, which are my favorites of all of those ideas, and I'd go and listen back to them, and then I would take my select few that I like the most and push them further and add more parts and expand them.
I'll just go ahead and plug, you're quite the gamer yourself, and I think that is a little bit of an understatement as far as skill level goes. I, for one, have been massively impressed with your skill level in a variety of games, but including...
I feel like playing the guitar is a very similar skill set to playing video games. It's hand-eye coordination and timing and creativity again. So I don't know, something about that. They play off each other quite well.
Are there any games that you had in the back of your mind that have inspired you over the years, music-wise?
Yes. I was trying to think of things that were more electronic-based. And then I built the album, and it was a lot shorter. And then I thought to myself, I'm planning these like actual songs, so that they're like, so you could put them on the radio and they'd finish in 4 minutes, and go through all of the parts. And I thought, that's really, really not what I need in a game usually. So I thought, stretching it all out. So, you still got the parts happening, but not so many things are rushing at you so quickly. It's not, not a first person shooter. A lot of MMOs and things like that have sort of almost classical with very sparse sounds, and it's just almost like one instrument a lot of the time. And I was going to go that direction, but I felt like I could do more, and I wanted to hear more, so I expanded upon it. I hope it was a good idea. Some games I have played, do have more intense, well, not intense, but just it feels very relaxed to me, and that's kind of what I wanted, something that would have rhythms going in the background and just kind of, I'm enjoying that. Like you're hearing a song next door and it's just not really the focus of your attention, but it's enough to keep you constantly going, I like that. The modern generation tends to, myself included, respond to being able to have that sort of music in the background and delete it or recall it as much as possible or wanted. You don't want parts happening all the time and singing and all of this stuff. It's like, people don't want to hear what I have to say while you're exploring Mars in the way you want to explore Mars. They don't care what I have to say. Like, I don't want them to care about what you're having a good time exploring Mars. Like, let's save the planet. It's like, no, we abandoned the planet. We're on Mars. Bye. Like, I suppose I was thinking more about movies in space for inspiration than games, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
The cinematicness and just that feeling of things happening and arriving in different places and evolutions of the song. And one of the songs is 17 minutes long, and it definitely doesn't sound the same at the end as at the beginning. It's meant to be on a sort of journey.
What would you want to play out in the game in this simulator of living on the planet?
Most importantly, want to enjoy the sort of the flow of it. Like if you look at Minecraft, you mine, you then turn those things into things to mine faster, to then make better things, so that you can then mine faster, so that you can make better things. And it's because there's a lot of creativity in there. There's got to be something in there that I enjoy and gets off on my creative side, which it would be hard not to do. It's on Mars. Good reasons for exploring the planet beyond just like finding rare minerals that really far away. And I noticed a long time ago, I don't enjoy games where they give everything to every player so that everyone can do well all the time. I want it to be difficult. I want to be, like, I want to be able to show off all the cool things I've got to people who don't have those cool things.
Yeah.
I feel like most of the MMOs I know over the last few years have been very much centered on, like, let's give everyone cool looking armor right at the start. And I don't know, I just haven't found it fun anymore, to be honest. And I'm looking forward to hopefully enjoying one more. Being on Mars and following a lot of what I really enjoy in real life and gaming on music all tying together for me is going to be something I'm definitely going to be playing.
What year do you think that we'll reach 1 million people living on Mars?
How much thought do you want me to give this?
As much as you want.
To be able to build the infrastructure to get that many people with the small amount of people you're there, it's going to be a few hundred years after that. The more people working on it, the more ideas can be created that speed up those things, I mean, if the entire world really gets invested in doing it, it could happen a lot faster.
So closing out, where do people go to find you? What's the best way to keep up with what you're doing? And where do you live online?
I'm probably most active on Instagram, but all of my posts get copied onto Facebook. I have a YouTube account and a Twitch account. My streams get copied to Twitch and YouTube and Facebook all at the same time. So you can watch on your place that you like to watch things on.
And you stream twice a week?
Yes, every Sunday and Tuesday at 7 p.m. At 7 p.m. at whatever time it is in England at the time.
All right, so find you streaming, find you on Instagram, Facebook, all the normal places. Is it mattgilmour.com,
yes,
mattgilmourmusic.com?
I go to my own website all the time, as you can tell. Yep, my website is just www.mattgilmour.com. That's the one.
Well, good luck with the stream this evening. And
I finally bothered to learn White Gloves. Did you know that Cranbin song? Have you heard that? Do you know Cranbin? You don't know Cranbin?
I don't think
man.
so. Oh, that song. And that's a wrap. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you enjoyed this, you'll probably really enjoy the free goodies and exclusive content that we give away in our mailing list through milliononmars.com, where you also get videos like this before anybody else. All the exclusive content. You can also join the community in Discord for announcements first and all of that conversation that happens there. And in the meantime, Godspeed at Astro Martians.